And now, more fuckery from the nice guys. Be sure to wash your hands after listening and wait 30 minutes before swimming.
Like, I'm up at the bar and I'm singing along, yeah, crazy bitch, but you fuck so good, I'm on top of it, right? And I look over and there's another woman, I have no idea who she is, and like she's singing along, and we look at each other like, oh, that's embarrassing, but yeah, that's funny. Okay, we're like bonding over the chorus of crazy bitch. Okay, yeah, that was good. Yeah.
That's good.
It is now 7:06. You have exactly 8 hours and 54 minutes to think about why you are here, to ponder the error of your ways. You will not talk, you will not move from these seats, and you will definitely not listen to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. 3 days a week, they're able to hold it together. This is not one of those days. Welcome to Fuckery with the Nice Guys. Adults need not apply. No interviews, lots of ranting, and they sometimes stumble onto something useful. Go figure. Now it's time for Nice Guys Fuckery with the kings of fuckery themselves, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
We can hear you, Amanda. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Of course, you're coming up as stop looking at my phone with no video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have
got
to
start
turn
your video
on,
in the
but you
lower left
can.
corner.
If it's on your phone, there should be a button that says start video.
Okay, do I have to start my video?
You don't have to if you don't want to. But
Is
Okay,
this
I'm not going
Stephanie
to.
Sursland joining us?
Oh, my
is
gosh.
that Stephanie?
Hi! Yes.
I just see iPhone and it's been so long since I've seen it. I recognize you.
Stephanie Sursland, the queen of real estate transactions. What's going on, Stephanie? Are you at the office or home today?
Guys, I'm at home today. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. It's that wonderful backwoods internet connection that you guys have. Your gerbils are running around very fast to try to keep up.
Yes.
So did you capture Sean in your city, in your fair city, or did you send him home? Because I know once he got out of his house, they didn't allow him back in the state of Ohio.
No, I think he's back in Ohio.
He's back there. Nice. Nice.
Okay, so welcome back. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. Today, once again, for our coronavirus episodes, we are live streaming on Facebook our Friday show, and we have a number of people. We got Jenny Bellinger. Welcome back. Thank you, Jenny, for jumping in.
Thanks.
Stephanie Sursland, who we have not seen in ages, and someone who is actually not here in the home with me, my daughter, Amanda. Amanda, are you there? Did we lose you already?
Oh, I just came in to say Strickland's daughter says potato.
Potato. Yes, of course she says potato. Nice.
Thank you.
I like that.
Are you going to stick around, or are you just saying potato and bolting?
I just came to say potato.
Okay.
That's very good. That's good.
Oh, also Corona potato.
Oh, Corona potato.
Don't forget about the Corona potatoes. They're important too.
They are important too.
So,
okay.
So up to wonderful Facebook Zoom integration standards, the entire process just crapped out. It keeps saying live preparing, and then it's just not going through. So we will not be live on Facebook, which is exactly why we left the link to get on Zoom. So not that you're hearing this now.
Oh, so like you can't try again. It's just dead. It's just.
I have been trying. I keep trying, and it just keeps. I tried first to do the Nice Guys community, and then I went over to do it on my personal page, and the same thing is happening. It just says no. It just is the spinning spiral of death. And there goes your daughter.
Happens. I hate when that happens.
So I want to find out the state of real estate, the condition of real estate in the world of the virus. So Stephanie Sursland is our resident expert in real estate, all things real estate, and she is here and she's representing. Is it still Coldwell Banker, Stephanie?
It is. It's still Coldwell Banker.
Okay, good. So I didn't know if they had since succumbed to the illness or maybe something has happened. So what right now, is this a buyer's market, a seller's market, or nobody's market because nothing is happening?
It's still both. Our sellers are still listing their properties, but they're being more reasonable with their list price. And we still have buyers out there looking and writing offers.
So are sellers being more reasonable with their price because nobody can get into their house, or what is being like? Are people still walking through homes and like opening cabinets and stuff and checking toilet paper and leaving with it, or what's going on?
Actually, yes, we're still showing the houses, but sellers are being proactive and they're opening doors, they're keeping the lights on, they're opening the cabinets because they're trying to get not so many people to touch the common surfaces in their homes.
Right, I got it. And do they offer the complimentary slippers and
Yes.
latex gloves when people are walking in the door?
Not the gloves, but they do have the shoe covers.
That would be great. Mr. Bonner, would you like to come in and see the house today? Yes. Well, let me give you the surgical mask, the booties, and the latex gloves.
Okay,
Oh, by the way,
the hazmat,
robe, please.
the hazmat suit.
You're going to have to be inside this bubble. We've provided this plastic bubble that you can roll around the house in. Steps can be challenging. Please be careful with that.
Yes.
We assume no responsibility whatsoever if you happen to roll down the steps.
The house.
Now all I can think of is John Travolta as Boy in the Bubble.
Yeah, Boy in the Bubble.
Bubble boy. Yeah.
The house would normally sell for $250,000. However, because we've had to actually make this house a biohazard, it is $350,000 because we include $100,000 in safety apparatus.
Yes.
What is that you're doing out back, sir? Well, that is the bombshell, otherwise known as the mass grave that we really have right now. Oh, no. Like, what the heck, Stephanie? It's like, how I think in California just this past weekend, I think it actually starts today, they closed all the beaches, so you can't even go to the beach.
Kidding?
You can't go to the fucking beach to even check out what's going on. So I can watch a sunset, but I have to do it only if I've sprayed myself with what's that stuff called?
Hand sanitizer.
What is that? Hand sanitizer, right.
My son and my daughter just went down to Lady Bird Lake to go paddleboarding. I hope they can get in. I mean, the rowing dock is closed, but that's just for rentals. I'm assuming they can be on the lake, right? God, I guess.
Well, every public park has been closed here, so they won't allow you to. There is a sign that they roped off with the police tape every park that's here. I mean, the parks in Los Angeles are very small because of the land value, but they've roped off every single with the police tape park. But they will let you go to the park as long as you don't touch any of the equipment that's there, and it's only you. I'm like, well, welcome to my best masturbation session. It's like, come on now. Why do I need any of this stuff?
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything. I don't. I just have other people touch. It's fine. It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Now we got Becky Jones joining. I don't think I know. Do any of you guys know Becky?
No, but Becky Jones. Is this the real Becky Jones that has joined us?
It is the real Becky Jones.
All right.
Sorry about the dog barking.
No, that's okay. That's why I muted you, Becky. That's quite all right. So, hi, Becky. So, Becky, how did you come to find the Nice Guys on Business podcast?
Well, actually, I attended the New Media Summit in September of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And so Strickland has been, we kind of share the same things, same ideas on Facebook. So I noticed that he was sharing a lot of my liking, possibly sharing some of the things that we probably are soul brother and sister.
So Becky, do you refer to him as President Cheeto also then?
I don't know him that well. I haven't seen his orange fingers. But yeah, so then I saw on Facebook the post for this today. So
wow, well, it's so great of you to be here. So Strickland, have you ever do you recall meeting Becky at New Media Summit in 2018? I believe that was the last New Media Summit that you've attended, or I'm sorry, that you've been allowed to attend.
September was Austin, right? No, because I was at the one in September was
Correct.
Austin. Are you in Austin?
I was in Austin.
Oh, but you're not, you don't live in Austin.
I live in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I was going to say, she
Like
sounds
Tennessee,
not from
yeah.
Texas.
Yeah. All right. Well, Becky, it's good
She
to see
needs to meet Tim Hill.
Yeah, that's wow, Stephanie. You have an excellent memory. Not only because he calls himself Tennessee Tim. I guess that would probably be a dead giveaway right there.
Yeah.
But
Write that down.
yeah, well, cool. Well, we're happy to have you here, and I see that Chris Hines has just joined the elite force here on the Nice Guys on Business. Chris, can you unmute your microphone long enough to be able to us hear the screaming that's going on in the background due to all the women that you're probably pleasuring right now?
No, social distancing. He was doing that on Zoom before he joined us.
Oh, sorry.
We'll probably be getting back to it again after, but not during.
Chris, are you with us? Can you talk?
Can you hear me?
Oh man, we are
Yeah.
so happy to have you here, man. Do you have live video, or are you in a compromising position right now?
No, I'm setting up the video now. Sorry I'm late. Just about 30 seconds here, I'll be good.
Yeah, there wasn't actually an actual like a set time that you had to be here. We were just glad that you were here at all, along with Becky, Stephanie, Jenny Bellinger, and of course my good friend Strickland Bonner, who I could not be doing this without.
Doug,
Strickland,
do you actually know Christopher?
I do. Chris and I actually. Chris, did we have a meeting like face to face, or did we just meet virtually? I can't remember.
I think we met face to face. It was about maybe like 4 years ago. I remember because I was living in my very small studio apartment in Costa Mesa, California, and now I live out in Seattle. So it's been a big change since then. But I do remember that conversation.
So when you say you moved from Costa Mesa to, I'm pretty sure that you said to Ground Zero, isn't that where you said you moved to? Because isn't Seattle like one of the busiest places when it comes to the virus?
Yeah, but what's funny is before everything happened, I was out in Orlando at PodFest speaking on a panel. So I wasn't even here when it kind of really began. But since then, when I came back, I've just been quarantined myself. Even before they told us to do it, I just stayed in the house, like grocery store, maybe Target, right back home, nowhere else. Like very, very, and you see, I'm prepared everywhere.
He's got the Clorox wipes. I was going to say the virus won't touch you because you're too good looking a guy. They never touch good looking guys. So
Doug, I was going to say you don't know, if you don't know Christopher well, you're making a lot of assumptions about him. I mean, he is a good looking guy, but I mean, you don't know if he's single. He might have his wife or his girlfriend there, and you're pissing her off right off the bat.
Strickland,
we don't. Hello.
While we're talking about other women, we're not supposed to say that to Chris's wife. All right,
oh,
so
the W or the G word, the wife and the girlfriend.
Right. I totally understand that. So Christopher, man, so you've gone from, I think when we originally met, you were thinking about launching a podcast. Now I heard you recently say that you are on the air. So are you doing podcasts now? So what's been going on? Sorry, my ex-wife is calling me. I gotta put that on silent.
Which one?
My first ex-wife, not the second one. The second one will never call me. I promise.
The first one you'd actually maybe answer that call. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Sorry, Christopher. So you are podcasting now?
It has been a lot. Since then, I started a podcast network. That was going on for about a year, maybe. We got up to 12 shows. We had 30 sponsors. It became really big. Honestly, too fast and overwhelming. So I had to shut it down.
Nice. So it completely imploded because of all the busyness.
Yeah, it was just too much. But now I've kind of gotten back into it where I've been hosting my show as a personal branding playbook. But now I do a lot more speaking as well on a podcasting. I just started the Elite Podcast Marketing Agency as well. We produce shows, do marketing there. We have a ton of great products. We even got our first clients like the first day I opened it up. So it's been going pretty good.
That is awesome. Give a plug for your business. What's the name of your company?
The Elite Podcast Marketing Agency. The website is elitepodcastmarketing.agency.
Awesome.
And our best product is the podcast roadmap, where we do audits and then we do some goal setting and set up marketing strategies. And we even do marketing for podcasters on a monthly retainer as well. So it's been amazing. And I was literally booked to speak at 5 more podcast events this year. So the virus kind of slowed everything down, but I'm hoping to get back in there.
That's all right. You'll be back in the saddle very soon. So happy to have you here. And Becky, what business thank you, Chris, for hanging out with us. Hang out. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us for a little while. Becky, what business are you in? What do you do?
Well, I just recently left a full-time job. I was a veterinary social worker at the UT College of Veterinary Medicine. But I am doing coaching now. So gardenyourmind.com. I'm a gardener, and life makes sense to me when I'm in the garden. And so I'm going to be using, those terms. If you don't water yourself, if you don't water a garden, things dry up. If you don't take care of yourself, same thing.
Did you ever see I think it was called The Gardener, Chelsea Gardner. It was Peter Sellers. I think he played a character called Chelsea Gardner. Chauncey Gardner. That's right. Mm-hmm. On that show. And Strickland is actually a gardener too, because oftentimes I watch him shovel a ton of shit. So he's doing fine. He's doing fine at that.
You're just weeding. He's just weeding. That's all he's doing.
That's all he's doing. No, he's smoking weed. That's all he's doing.
That's yours, Doug. That's yours. I'm just watering with Fireball.
Yeah, that's very true. Now we had somebody that just joined also, Jennifer Romero. Jennifer, can you unmute yourself long enough to say hi, or maybe take off yeah, there you go. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
How are you? Are you there?
I'm good.
Doug, that is our show notes writer, Jennifer.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi, well, wait, do you go by Jennifer or Jen?
Yes.
Okay. So
I feel your pain, girl. I feel your pain.
Yeah, Jen. Now Jenny. I never call you.
No,
anything.
Jenny, Doug. No, Jenny.
No. Jenny Bellinger.
Okay,
is here
Jenny.
with
Yes,
us, too.
Jenny can be Jenny. Hi.
Yeah. I never called Jenny Bellinger anything other than Jenny. I always thought that Jennifer. And I heard somebody, I think Steve, one of our clients, referred to you as Jennifer, and I was like, ooh, that sounds like that somebody's getting yelled at right there.
Yeah, that I usually it's only in professional settings or if I'm around my parents that I hear myself referred to as Jennifer.
I got it.
That's it. Everybody else calls me Jenny.
So Jennifer Romero. So why don't you share a little bit about what you do for the Turnkey Podcast Production Company? Because I don't even think I know. I Strickland signs all the checks, so I see one every once in a while that goes with your name on it. So you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just I do show notes here and there.
All right. So you're short on words unless somebody tells you what to say because you follow the show notes, or what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, so what does that mean? You do show notes, but somebody might not even know what that means.
I gotcha. So I just listen to or read the transcription of the podcast, and then I'll pick out some key points to put in the show notes so that if somebody is searching, they'll know what it's all about. It's pretty simple.
So how has business been bumped up since everybody has been put at home, or has your business slowed down? I know from a sales perspective, my business has been doing better. So I'm hoping it trickles down to you at some point with more business coming in the door.
Yeah, it's been good. It's good.
Nice.
I appreciate it.
Nice. Well,
she writes notes for my show, and she's doing a great job.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, thank you.
At any point, Jen, if you want to take over the Mustang podcast, I would be happy to pay. I'd be happy to pay you to do that. I do not like the show notes are the part that I do not enjoy doing. I don't mind doing the audio editing, but listening to the episodes and having to fill in the blanks, do not like having to do that.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Those are truer words that have never been spoken. And Stephanie Sersland, you're probably of the folks that are here today. You're probably are more of the you're more original in the let's say that one of the fans. I don't want to call it a fan, but somebody that's actually a listener to the community. Do you recall how long you've been listening for, Stephanie?
I've been a Funkin' fan for many, many years now.
So
I think it was like the first year you guys launched that Sean introduced me to your show, and I started listening right away.
Yeah, I think you were probably in the top 5 of Funkin' fans that I actually had a chance to meet, and you were the first fan that actually hired me to come out and talk to your community. Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
I love that. That was really cool. So thank you. So why don't you tell everybody that's just tuning in now, Stephanie, what you do and how you do it?
I'm with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Professionals in Iowa City, and I always say that I'm a cat herder. I have 46 full-time agents, and right now we're still listing and selling real estate in Iowa City area, and it's going okay. We're just a little bit more cautious.
But as important, the shop that she runs is very close to the Come and Go. So
yes.
One of my favorite places to visit when in Iowa City, aside from the airport, which is a freaking cool airport because it's so easy. It's the same TSA guy that watches you come in and that watches you leave. Same gate. Right next to the Come and Go. They do have beer on tap at the Come and Go, which is good. I'm not sure I want to have anything on tap that starts with the word come and go, though.
Well, maybe it'll help you to think of it as the ejaculate and evacuate, like we used to call it in college.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Oh my God.
That's great. Did you know that was the nickname, Stephanie, of the Come and Go?
No, I did not.
Yeah, and when we were too drunk to say the full word, it was the ejac and evac.
Amazing.
Oh,
all right,
funny.
and Jenny Bellinger, why don't you tell everybody that's just tuning in who you are, what you do, since you might not have anybody here or everybody might not know who you are.
Absolutely. I am Jenny Bellinger. I am the Direct Sales Dom, and I have a podcast called the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast. I work with rockstar direct sales moms to help them achieve financial freedom so that they can be present in their children's lives. So that's what I do in my business. I also am on the side a coach for Turnkey Podcast as well, helping train our launch clients, getting them up and ready because I've been through the process. So now I know how to do the process with the clients, which is fun too. So that's basically what I do.
Jenny actually helped us put together our DIY, our ultimate podcast launch formula, which was great. It was about 11 hours of video. Jenny and I would meet every Friday for an hour and a half for a couple of months. And then finally we took all of those nuggets and put them together in the DIY program. So that's very cool.
Yeah,
but all of that stuff is way too serious, Strickland.
So let's talk about something a little lighter. You know, Becky mentioned Facebook, that she and I have apparently connected on Facebook on certain things. And I think maybe outside of Christopher, is everybody here a member of Gen X, born between 65 and 1980?
Yeah, I'm considered Xennial because I'm right on the cusp. So
Christopher, you're probably a millennial, right, Christopher?
Yeah, I literally just turned 28 in January.
Got it.
All right, but actually I fit into the baby boomer era.
Oh yeah, you missed that.
I do too.
You do too? I was 1964.
Stephanie, you do not, really?
I'm 1964.
Oh, I thought you were younger than me, Stephanie.
We're the last year of the baby boomers. And I'm very proud to be in the same generation as what year did the baby boomer generation start, Strick?
I don't know, 40s or something, I think.
I think it was 46. It was post-war.
Something
nice,
like that.
Nice. Well, okay. Well, I'm happy to be in that with all of the post-war babies.
So it's okay. I can say "okay, boomer" to you now, Doug.
Yeah,
I'm allowed to say "okay, boomer."
So, but I'm curious.
Okay,
so, why
boomer.
did you ask the question?
Because I just felt, it's the sign of when you've got a good post on Facebook, right? Is when you get more shares than you do likes.
Yeah,
and I put this article up. It took a global pandemic, but Gen X is finally getting its love. Right? It's an article I just put up on Facebook earlier, and I've gotten like 6 people sharing it already. And it's great because it's really all about how, the whole pandemic and having to be stuck inside and all this crap. It's like, dude, Gen X, we've been prepping for this our whole lives, right?
Okay, so wait, I'm curious what the points are because I want to see if I agree. Do you have the article anywhere near you?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So let's see a couple of the points that they make in the articles.
And can we raise our hands when you make the point if we agree or disagree with it? Are they like points that you can agree or disagree, or are they just points of fact?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
So everybody that's here, so we have 7 of us here right now that's on the call.
Mm-hmm.
If you agree with the point that Strickland is going to make, you're going to raise your hand. All right, Strick, go ahead.
I'm looking for ones that are appropriate here. We don't require a lot of hand holding. Waiting in line is no problem for us. We spent plenty of time chilling in the back of a station wagon or Suburban long before seatbelt laws went into effect.
Yeah,
waiting in those endless gas lines with our parents in the late 70s.
Well, and I thought that would be the case in point because they don't mind spending time in line because they have their cell phones, so they can actually just spend their time just browsing. Okay, I'm there.
Gen Xers have limited expectations. We were completely satisfied to play with our pet rock, which was literally just a rock, or the world's first video game Pong, literally a dot on the screen moving between two cursors.
Totally happy.
Right? Yeah, pretty easily entertained.
Do you remember Pong? You actually had to put the static electric screen up there that had the line because they couldn't figure out how to put a line on the video screen in front of you. So
Chris,
they fixed that by the time I got it.
I'll send you a picture of what that looked like, Chris, because I know you might not be familiar with it.
We took Polaroid pictures and waved them in the air while we patiently waited for them to develop. Our mood ring always read relaxed.
Wait, I got a mood ring. Hold on, let me get it.
You got
That is
scary.
I believe that.
There were only about 3 hours of television programming devoted to us, and if you missed it, you just missed it for the week. Firmly planted in front of the television for the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour every Saturday morning, followed by The Wonderful World of Disney and Mutual Omaha's Wild Kingdom every Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Marlon Perkins, and I will be in the safe sofa inside the living room while my partner Jim will be out there with his head in a cheetah.
The thing I forgot to mention about that is the fact that the part of the reason we sat so close to the TV is because we were the remote control. Because when Dad said, I'm bored, change the channel.
And they were
that was
small.
us. We were the remote control.
Exactly. Let's see. While you were busy getting in fistfights over toilet paper and bread, Gen Xers were shopping quietly to stock up on Pop-Tarts, SpaghettiOs, and powdered drink mixes. We'll be just fine. We used to eat entire boxes of sugary cereal just to get to the prize at the bottom.
Hey, what was, speaking of which, what was everybody's favorite cereal when you were growing up? I mean, I know that I was a Sugar Smacks,
the Honey
Frosted
Smacks.
Flakes fan, big time. Like Cookie Crisps came out when I was a little bit older kid, and I was like, this was the best cereal. It was literally chocolate chip cookies. You know, that were disguised somehow Nabisco or whatever Post got these through as breakfast cereal, but it was nothing more than eating chocolate chip cookies for breakfast.
And it cut your mouth open.
It did.
You had the Cookie Crisp. You had to let it get a little bit soggy because otherwise you'd be chewing and like all of a sudden you'd be like, ow, 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 this hurts. Ow, this hurts. Stop eating.
That must be the glass that they were using to kind of cut the to cut.
And now
cut
all I
the
can think
cookies.
is the Dan Aykroyd SNL skit of the Bag-O glass.
Jeez. So strict. So did you just run through them all?
That's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot more in the article that's very entertaining. I think it's
So I'm really curious as we have a pretty good cross section of America here. I'm really curious what changes have happened over the last month, let's say, in people's lives. I mean, aside from the fact that, like for me, I really do feel like not much has changed with the exception of I can't go out to eat at a restaurant because that's what we would do a couple nights a week. But for the most part, I'm here doing the same job that I was doing before. A little bit affected because I think there's some fear in the people that are buying the stuff that we have that are hesitating a little bit to spend the bigger dollars for fear that they're not going to have any income coming down the road. But from an activity perspective, I really am doing the same activities that I've been doing for the last 5 years. So that being said, what has changed in people's lives aside from can't going out to restaurants if your state is indeed, shut down all the restaurants? And anybody can answer that.
Well, I was supposed to be in Vegas this weekend. No gym? No, I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, no. JJ can't have Jim either, but I'm glad that he can't come over to the house anymore.
Yeah. I haven't seen the inside of a gym in a long time, so I don't need to worry about that.
Okay, well, Chris, why don't you say, so no gym, what else has changed for you?
Honestly, that's been really about it. I would say business is going a lot better because people that I spoke to last year or over the last, let's say 16 months are now coming to me like, hey, I'm ready to start that podcast now because they had all the time in the world. So it's actually helping business a little. So
I agree. We see the same thing, and nobody can use the excuse, I'm sorry, I'm not at home today. So if you call them, they're home. If they're not home, they're just avoiding your call at this point. So I agree with you. For those that are online, the business world has really either picked up, stayed the same, or maybe dipped a little bit for now, but I think it's going to be coming back. I don't think, somebody that owns a restaurant, I was just talking to my buddy Scott Miller about this. The restaurants have got to be, they're dying. I mean, these guys are, a buddy of his has a restaurant. He spends $20,000 a month in rent. And in rent. So he's paying the rent to a guy that owns the place, and the guy that owns the place isn't being very forgiving about not collecting the rent. Now, not only does he have to pay the rent, but he has a staff that he's had to furlough or fire or lay off. So how long can somebody at $20,000 a month last?
Yeah, that's why they're offering all the small business loans and stuff. They need it. I mean, it's going to be terrible.
All right.
Yeah,
so
like
Chris,
I used to go see live music all the time. I mean, at least once or twice a week, I'd go see a band somewhere, go to an open mic night, and there's none of that going on.
Yeah.
How about for you, Becky? Coaching business, better, worse, the same? What's going on?
Well, since I was going to launch it, so my interim position ended January 31st. So let me back up and say my divorce was final 12/4.
Congratulations. That's the happy dance.
Thank you so much. Yes.
My birthday. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'll always remember that now.
Yes. Thank you. So yes, next time I see you live, which I will. And so there's a lot happened since 2018, but I took it from a 3,000 square foot house to 500 square feet. Which is just cozy containment. I needed that to be.
We are literally looking at your entire house.
Yes, that's why. That's why I did my workstation. So it's like, shit, what's back there?
Is that like up on the shelf? Is that like a big bottle of? It looks like either like whiskey or Fireball. I can't tell. It's a long way away. Maybe I'm.
I think you're craving it.
Yeah, it
Yes.
must be.
No,
there's no doubt.
it's not up there.
No, it's not a bottle up
Yes.
there.
What I was going to do too is take my 3 bottles of Boda Box, and I was going to be like 12 bottles of beer in the Boda Box, 12 bottles of wine, take one down, and then there's 11 to however many.
I think
anyway.
that's ice. I think that's Trader Joe's iced tea behind her. If I'm looking correctly at the top, what's on the top of that? Way in the back, up.
Looks
up
like
near
something with a handle, like a big bottle with a handle.
Yeah, it does. It's behind a picture. I think I can't tell what it is though.
It's on top of the counter. Not like we're like stalking your house or anything, Becky.
But that's cool. Are y'all looking like way back?
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
it?
all the way at the kitchen counter, the very top of the kitchen counter, by the touching up to the ceiling. It looks like a bottle with a handle, but it looks like a big,
That's I believe that's a painting that's over behind it.
Becky, right near that Solo cup, is that a vibrator that's right there? I just can't tell. That's what that is. You may want to go get that. Right, she's going to get that. What is it?
Oh, Doug.
I can't see. Hold on a second. I got to change the view. What is it exactly?
Doug, you may have been right.
I think I was right.
No, that's a massager, Doug. That's
Right,
a different
Strickland.
kind of vibrator.
That-
I am
right.
single right now, guys. Right, so you get it when you can. Get it when you can.
That's
Exactly.
getting the massage with
I
the
did
happy
used to
ending.
be I did used to be a pure romance consultant, so I've got a closet to die for. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
Hey, did we lost Jenny Bellinger? I think
She
must.
she put in the chat that she's running to a.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, yeah, she would have been the queen of being able to confirm or deny whether that was a vibrator or not. And I had it Strick, was that amazing? I had it from like 30
That
paces
was
away.
really good.
that's pretty awesome.
I'm looking at the liquor. You're focusing on other things. I get it, Doug.
Welcome
get
to
it.
my home. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
But to answer your question, so let
yeah.
me a couple things. So I wanted to point out too that so the launch of the business kind of got a Casbah put on that. But I do want to mention too that Tennessee, like always, we are the last. Our governor is not helping us.
Live free or die.
Oh yeah, for real. But I also want to point out that Yassine's Falafel House, the nicest, kindest place in America, is right here, 5 minutes from me. Yassine's Falafel. Did you see on the Today Show and
No, I don't know. Tell me about the
yes.
falafel house.
Oh no, I mean like this dude, Yassine, he's got 2, he feeds everybody. He went whenever we had, he won on, let me back up. Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Nicest place in America restaurant, right? He's not
okay.
from here. He won it twice. He
Wow.
went to Nashville when we had all of those tornadoes and things, and feeding people, got people in the community. He's right here. So I want to definitely shout out.
So Becky, are your restaurants in Tennessee still open?
It didn't come from our governor. It came from our mayor.
So your city, you can't have open restaurants, but your state outside of your city proper, you're allowed to have an open restaurant.
Right. So bars are closed, but we've got curbside.
Nothing like drive-through liquor. That's perfect.
I think they did release and that they can deliver you alcohol to your house now.
Nice.
Strickland, I'm really curious, Strickland, the state of Nevada right now with the from our last call. We were talking about all the casinos being closed down. I am just really curious how businesses are surviving. And Stephanie, you probably see this more than any of the 6 of us here because you probably have the closest ear on the finger on the pulse of businesses that are either buying, selling, or anything. What is the state of like the business world right now? It's just got to be totally shit.
Well, we are still listing houses and we're still writing contracts, but it's not like it was a year ago or 2 years ago. We've hit a slowdown, but there's still the need out there for people to sell their homes and to buy the homes. So we still have a little bit of business that is happening.
What are you hearing from, or maybe you're not hearing anything yet from the mortgage companies that are out there? Like again, a buddy of mine who applied to have a mortgage and was going in the middle of the mortgage application process and processing and underwriting, and his wife got furloughed. So they actually said, "Hey, you don't qualify anymore for this."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how many people? Everybody that's in the homeowner buying stages right now, whether you're self-employed, how closely do you feel like they're going to be looking at income for qualifying, new mortgage holders?
Yeah, they are. That's one of the big things. And also what we've noticed is houses that are under contract, our sellers are now stalking the buyers on Facebook to find out what their jobs are, to see if they're going to be able to follow through with the purchase of the home. Yeah.
Oh,
We've had
gosh.
sellers just admit that to us.
Wow. So what is it? What do you see, just from somebody, again, that's got a little bit closer ear to what's been going on in the industry? What do you see as happening? And I know you're not a soothsayer, so you can't tell what's going to happen down the road because we have no idea how long this is going to last for. But what are you feeling? What's the vibe that's out there in the market right now?
Everybody in our area is still being positive, but being very cautious. They still want to be doing what they're doing. A lot of them are doing it from home now. And that's one thing that I've noticed is I've always wanted to start to talk about not having such a large office and having more of our agents work from home, because they're already doing their listing and selling electronically. And so this has been a good exercise for us to see if this is something we can do in the future and not have such a large office and have most of our agents working from their home offices.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of rent to have to pay. If you've got 46 agents and they all need a desk, and really, do they need a desk? Do they really all need a desk? Yeah.
Yeah, we've made it so that they can work mobile. I mean, truly, our business now is almost 100% mobile at times.
Oh yeah. And my mom was an agent for 40 years. And in the beginning, it was all about, the contracts, and you had to be a part of, just the infrastructure, because you needed to go to the office to get all of that information, to get all of your forms and everything. And everything is being done online right now. So do you see the entire face of the real estate agency potentially even looking at, or even some small agencies popping up because they realize, hey, we can do this all online, avoid the overhead instead of a 7 or a 6.5 or 6 or 7% commission? We could probably save a point, undercut the industry because we have no overhead.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen, because we still have a really strong commission rate in our area, because there's still a lot of work that our agents have to do. But I see what you're saying there too, but we already have those cut rate agents.
Well, we do hope that you don't have to, dip a little bit below 10%. I know that's where you are right now. So that's pretty good, Stephanie.
That would have been great. That'd be great. But no.
So it looks like the dude has joined us.
Hey, I saw that. I don't know who the dude is. Do you know who the dude is, Strick?
Dude, no idea.
So, dude, if you unmute your microphone or share your video or something so we can see who and what you are, or if you just want to just kind of be a voyeur in there, that's okay too. We'll give you a second to unmute if you want to. Hey, Strick, and while we're waiting for dude to unmute or demask or do whatever you're going to do, what's the deal with college right now? Because I know, do you have 1 or 2 in college right now?
Yeah,
Strick?
I've got 2 in college right now, and they both of them, the classes are starting up again on Monday online, right? But it's going to be virtual for the rest of the year if they finish it up. Like, there's going to be no graduation ceremonies. My son, who is in from Maine, they kicked him out of the dorms in Maine, but he's in art college in Maine. He's like, they're going to start classes Monday, but like, I got no materials. I can't do printmaking. I don't know how I'm going to do this stuff. So
when you say they're going to start class again on Monday, you mean they're going to start class virtually on Monday?
Yep, virtually.
Can you imagine having to switch everything on a dime? Now, we're a small company, and so we have always trained everybody online. Jen, you probably learned how to do what we're doing online. You probably never even met I know I've never face-to-face met you, and I think this is the first time we've even met virtually, but you know, so how is it for you? What else do you do, or is this what you do?
I have a full-time job at Hobby Lobby, but they closed this last week, but I guess we're gonna try to reopen on Monday, which is kind of weird. But
what state are you in, Jen?
In Texas. I'm in Austin.
So you're in Austin, Texas, and is it mandated for you guys to have is Hobby Lobby considered? Is it an essential business?
I didn't think so.
Well, you never know. I mean, crafting for me is an essential. If I can't craft, I'm in a lot.
You talk to some of our customers for sure. Yeah,
I'm in a world of hurt if I can't craft, and if I can't get my car memorabilia from that middle section aisle, I don't know what I'm going to do. And if I can't get silk flowers, I don't know what's going to come in my life.
That's my department. Anyway, so my daughter is in high school. She's a senior this year, and we don't know if she's going to be able to go back or not to finish her senior year, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, can you imagine that as a senior? You got graduation, you have senior week. I mean, I think Strick, you were saying something about that also, or somebody was mentioning that. Is all of these things that are in the milestone events. I mean, Strick and I came from the wedding and bar mitzvah world, and can you imagine not being able to have your event? Or all of my events have been postponed either to November and December, or even further into next year. But what happens to all those? What happens to the caterer that has a staff of like 50 people on their team? I mean, how can they survive this?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't see that happening. Hey,
I know Sean Carpenter's schedule got interrupted. He's had a lot of his events postponed and hopefully rescheduled by the end of the year.
Well, right. Christopher, you said you're doing a lot of speaking right now. Are you doing a lot of speaking on podcasting right now?
Yeah, just all podcasting events. DC Podfest. Another one was like New York. I was supposed to be at the Outliers conference next month in May, or 2 months in May, with Ever Gonzalez, but they canceled that. We'll be doing virtually. So some of the later ones in the year, they haven't been canceled just yet, but I mean, most of them are moving to the virtual world now. You know, like everything is kind of shutting down. And just being here in Seattle, though, like, it's weird when you drive past them all and there are no cars outside.
Yeah,
like,
that's gotta be weird.
Yeah.
That's the weird part. But people still go to the park, and, you know, they shut the schools down. So I have a daughter, my 2-year-old, she's with me like nonstop now. So I'm like full-time dad and working. So
Right.
Crazy.
Well, I hear they have virtual babysitters. You just kind of lock your child to the computer. Oh, wait a minute. That's an iPad. That's an iPad anyway. That's what happens anyway, eventually anyway. So I think that the dude, did you, are you with us now?
Yes, I am.
So who is the dude? We're very curious.
I'm in the witness protection plan. I cannot reveal my identity.
Damn. Okay, dude.
But I do know DJ Doug quite
Dave
intimately.
Sachs. It's Dave Sachs.
Hey there.
Hey, put your video on. I'd love to see you.
I'm not wearing any clothes right now.
Well, you never are wearing any clothes because you live in South Florida, dude. Come on, let me see your face. David Sachs.
There we are.
Now, this is a good buddy of mine. Dave Sachs and I actually went to college together. We met in 1983, 84?
Something like that, yeah.
We met in 1983, 84, and Dave has been a voyeur of the Nice Guys on Business podcast for probably about the last 5 years. And every once in a while, I'll come up with a subject. I don't think he's listening, but he sends me a text message and says, "That was a little risque, or you're doing good." What's going on in South Florida, my friend?
Well, it's probably very similar to what's happening everywhere else. There's a complete stoppage of work. So somebody earlier was talking. It's
kind of funny, though, Dave, because you actually have never worked a day in your life. So what's the difference for you?
Listen, it's a challenge walking to the mailbox to pick up a check.
That it is.
To distance myself from the mail person as well as my neighbors. So somebody was earlier talking, I only heard parts of it, talking about real estate. Is there a realtor on the...
Don't try networking now, Dave Sachs. You know what happens. Yeah, Stephanie Sursland, meet my good buddy David Sachs. He lives in South Florida, West Palm Beach, and he's loaded. So if you need to ever get, have some South Florida properties, I mean, when I say loaded, I mean he drinks a lot. So I apologize.
Yeah. So the real estate market's interesting down here because I only heard a little bit of what you guys were talking about, but the agency that I'm with is one of the larger agencies in the state of Florida, and they're moving entirely to virtual everything. The more advanced realtors have been doing this for a while, but they're doing virtual open houses right now, which is really interesting. They're doing virtual closings, which makes sense. I've been to I do commercial real estate, not residential, but I have been to a couple residential closings, and you have too. I'm sure you've been to a ton of them. You just sit there and slide the paper across, watch everybody sign, blah, 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 and then you're out of there in half an hour to an hour. It can be all done online, which is kind of nice. So I think we're going to be making a paradigm shift, not only in our industry, but in so many industries. And I think employers are going to soon find out or have to admit that they don't need people in their offices all the time to get the work done. My daughter's experiencing that up in the DC area. She works for a national hotline that deals with anti-trafficking. It's an international hotline, actually. They want people in the office because they need supervisors to kind of keep a lookout as to what's happening. But she, as of yesterday, is working at home now, which is great because she can still collect her paycheck and work at home. And that's nice. So what are you all seeing in your offices?
Yeah, I'm seeing you in my office right now. As a matter of fact, we've been fortunate to be able to work virtually the entire time that this whole thing works, and it goes on. But Adam, my son, David, he's in Maine right now, and his company said, in New York, he's based out of New York with his company, and his company shut their doors, and they just said, "Hey, you can work from anywhere remotely." And this is probably $1 billion, I don't know how big Outfront is, but they're probably a $1 billion organization, or not too far from it if they aren't. But it's amazing how much they probably have invested in real estate and how much they have, rent and mortgages and everything else that do they need to have them? I don't know if they need to have them. I don't know.
I see Rachel teaching piano online. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, I talked to, again, he's referring to my daughter, Rachel, and Rachel, actually, I had a conversation with her last night, and she said that she's working right now at 110% capacity because she would go out, she has 70 plus students that she does piano and voice lessons for, that many of them would be 70% were live face to face, and she has brought more than them online since she has been home. And just think about the face of everything is going to change, but nothing more than something like this would have made that happen. And if you would have guesstimated this a year ago, you would have said, no way is this ever going to happen.
Well, one of the things that works, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I think you're good. No, Stephanie was chiming in. She was just agreeing, which is good because I pay her to agree with me. So it's good.
So our other, one of my other businesses is owning apartments. Now that is, I'm trying really hard not to freak out over that. I can very easily walk on either side of the street. One, totally in a panic, and the other side is pretty calm. Fortunately, I'm trying to stay on that side of the street, so to speak, because...
Well, why, Dave? Because people have to live somewhere. So are you thinking that they're going to say, well, I'm just not going to pay my rent this month? Or what are you thinking?
They aren't going to be able to pay their rent this month. Now, we're okay for the month of April, we feel. I mean, I'm involved in 3 different apartment complexes, and one of them a lot more involved than the other 2. And we feel pretty strongly that there's going to be a significant drop-off, even with the new package that was just passed by the federal government, of people's ability to pay rent. So what we did proactively is I reached out to the management company that manages these apartments for us and let them know that, one, we don't want to pursue any type of, and I put it like in air quotes, punitive damages toward anyone who's paying late, no late fees, et cetera. And then the president of the company I'm dealing with interrupted me and said, the state of Maryland already took care of that for you.
Right. So, just like the state of New York did the same thing. You can't charge late rent or evict somebody while they're not paying their rent.
Right. And I think that's the right thing to do.
Right.
I mean, we've had some tenants there for over 20 years, and we want to be good stewards to our tenants, because quite bluntly, without them, there's no money.
Right.
So there's no reason to be in business. So anyway, so it's kind of stressful though, because we really don't know what to expect at all.
So Strick, you may not know this, but Dave Sachs and I, we were on WMUC radio. I started my entire radio career with Dave. We were the team of Sandler and Sachs. And
College Park's best music, College Park's only music.
We had a 1-2 punch that was good until Diane Jackson somehow got in between us and made it really challenging for us. But we had a good time on the radio. And if there was, I mean, this is legitimately, now David may not even realize this, but if you had said no to hosting a podcast with me, my next go-to guy was going to be Dave Sachs. So Dave, once again, you play sloppy seconds. Sorry, man.
But you also dodged a bullet. Trust me.
You really did. You dodged a big bullet.
I've seen pictures of you, Strick, from when you started this and what you look like now. You're right.
Yeah, I think Doug and the podcast have aged me about 20 years in the last 5. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I'm trying to talk Strickland out of leaving his full-time job, but he's feeling like a good steady paycheck right now is probably a good healthy way to stay alive for him. So
consider yourself lucky to have one. I mean, so many people don't.
I know.
Just look at the hard hit middle class, lower middle class. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Hey, so Strick, you want to get on to us? Thanks, Dave, for being here. I so appreciate you chiming in. I love that you're here. You want to go ahead and play those voicemails, Strick? Do you have the ability to do that?
Yeah, here we go. Let me share my screen, and we got a couple of voicemails from Jared, and they're at least a week and a half to 2 weeks old. So if they are not relevant, because the world has changed just a little bit in the last week or so, yeah. So let's take a look here. Of course, we got to have our pre-music. We got a voicemail from Jared. Voicemail from Jared. Voicemail from Jared. Nobody else will call. Nobody else will call. We got a voicemail from Jared. Screw the rest of y'all.
Nice.
So for those of you who don't know, 4242 DJ Doug is the number. International country code is 1. Call anytime. Nobody does. And that's why the bumper says, screw the rest of y'all, because nobody else but Jared calls. So here we go. Let's listen to Jared's voicemails from at least a week ago.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Strix. Jared here. So this is the episode that is super long, and I'm excited.
That was last week.
And the only reason I know this is a super long episode is because Strickland was kind enough to tell us in the Facebook group. Now, I don't look at my downloads and how long they're going to be because I don't usually care. If I listen to the podcast, I'm going to listen to it. And so for those of you who are not in the Facebook group, get in there, niceshortcut.com, because I knew this was coming and I was excited for it. Anyways, back to the real reason I called. You guys are talking about Doug binge watching Downton Abbey. And you're such a nice guy. You're like, dude, Dad cost you your man card. And Doug's like, I probably lost it years ago. And, Doug, because we love you, we're giving you the tiny little baby man card. So that's what you have right now. And Downton Abbey probably just took it away. Maybe not. We love you enough, we might let it slide and just kind of freeze you at the tiny little baby man card.
Thank you.
Anyways, love the show, guys. Can't wait to hear the rest of it. This is near the beginning. Fuck, you probably don't even remember where this was at in the show, but it's near the beginning.
No idea.
So, have a great day. Look forward to the rest of my list.
Yeah, you may have gotten your baby man card, but not with the Downton
Wait, hold on.
Abbey.
Hold on. Hit pause there for a second, because I might not have lost it with Downton Abbey, but if I haven't lost it now that I'm listening and watching Madam Secretary, I think it was.
No, Madam Secretary's okay. Taya Leone's
really
hot. Yeah, Taya Leone's pretty hot.
The thing I don't understand about the show, and I don't know if anybody else on the call live is that listens to this, but the thing that's interesting about that show is all of the women on that show have the deepest fucking voices I've ever heard. They have deeper voices than I have, deeper voices than even Dave Sachs has, and that's a pretty deep voice. What is her name? Taya
Leone. Yeah.
Is she any relation to Sergio Leone?
Not that I know of.
I'm really curious now. Has she been in something else?
She's starred in a couple of movies, but nothing that ever really hit. Like, she's been around for a long time. I think she was in the first Bad Boys movie with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but she's been in a bunch of stuff, but it has never really hit it big.
Okay. And I think there's 5 or 6 seasons of Madam Secretary, and I've just tuned into the first handful of episodes on that. That's our evening activity at this point. What is, but when did the show happen? How many years ago? Has it been out a really long time?
It's funny. I remember watching when it first came out, and, I watched, I don't know, half the first season or something, but I just kind of lost interest in it. But I guess it has been a couple of years. I guess it's been around a while.
Well, I started to watch, we were going through a whole bunch of stuff. I was having actually some Downton Abbey withdrawals after that. Was there anybody here watch it, Downton Abbey? Stephanie, did you watch Downton Abbey? Oh wait, you're muted. Hold on a second. Let me unmute you. So Stephanie, you were watching Downton Abbey?
Yes.
Did you enjoy the show?
I love the show, and I can't wait to see the movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the movie was really good, but the movie you leave the movie wanting so much more.
Yes.
You're like, I need another 7 seasons after the movie is over. Yeah.
They need to bring it back.
Yeah, so we went right from Downton Abbey, then we went over to West Wing, and because I liked Newsroom, I thought that West Wing would be kind of good, and then West Wing is so fucking dated. I mean, it is so dated.
Really?
They have everybody's got a BlackBerry and a flip phone. So as soon as I see that, I'm like, yeah, no. And then they have the tube computers. I'm like, no, that's no good. That's no good. Wait a minute. Let me go over to the only other one that's here that might appear to be slightly as unmasculine as I am. Dave Sachs. Let me ask you a question. Did you watch Downton Abbey at all?
No, not at all. But
that means you watched it, didn't you?
No, I never did. But Tia Leone in Madam Secretary is a fantastic show.
Oh, okay. So would you say I don't have to have my man card revoked by watching that? I just want to confirm.
No, that one's not good.
What I like about it in particular is they take on some very controversial issues.
Did you watch Newsroom? Did you see Newsroom at all with Jeff Daniels?
Yeah.
Do you feel it's the same vibe? Same vibe as that show?
Yeah, but Tia Leone is kind of hot looking.
Much hotter than Jeff Daniels.
There was a movie that she was in, another movie she was in called The Family Man. The Family Man was with, I just forgot his name.
Stephanie knows. Wait a minute. Stephanie
I'm
knows.
looking him up right now.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a cool movie too. It's not a very deep movie. You're not going to change anything in your life, but it's a good movie.
So Strick, have you seen any of the episodes of Madam Secretary?
Yeah, when it first came on, so I guess it's 4 or 5 years ago now. I watched the first 4 or 5 or 6 episodes. And I thought it was good. I just didn't stick with it. But now that it's got a bunch of them, I might go back and watch it.
Okay.
I don't have time for all that shit. I'm busy.
Did you look up on Google when the series was playing?
Oh yeah, it started in let's see, 2014. Yeah. So
okay. So it is fairly and how many episodes does it say? How many episodes there was?
It says 120 episodes, so it's doing really well.
I'm in deep. This is good. I got at least another 4 days.
Yeah, but you know what? She was actually in A League of Their Own in 1992. She was in Bad Boys in 95 and Flirting with Disaster and Deep Impact, she's got a whole bunch of little movie roles, but she just never hit it big until, 7 seasons or 6 seasons of Madam Secretary.
I like that they deal with, I think as David says, they deal with a whole bunch of really, they're kind of like topics that are a little bit edgy. I mean, they do talk about international asylum, and they do a whole bunch of really good topics. So I enjoy it. I really like it a lot. Cool. All right, let's do the second.
More voicemails from Jared. Here we go.
Hey Doug, hey Strick, Jared here. So still Friday, same one. You guys are all quarantined, and
still,
you guys are playing the fucking voicemails, and nobody can hear them. They are not there. I don't know if you guys switched things up. I don't know what happened, but anymore, you guys are playing voicemails and drops and shit like that, and nobody can hear them. They're not coming through on the episodes. Anyways, guys, still love the show, and I'm trying. I don't even fucking remember what I left for the voicemail, and you guys have started talking about it, and I don't know. I just paused it right in the middle of the voicemail, so we'll see what happens and go from there. But just letting you guys know, we don't hear it.
Hey,
yeah, Zencaster. We got to call Zencaster and find out what's up with that.
I gotta ask this because he reminded me of something. Not that he said a specific thing that reminded me of this topic, but it reminded me of this topic. What is the deal with how, if we get $1,000 or $1,200, what the fuck is that going to do?
Huh?
Like the government
you mean
sending
if the government sends us
right.
a check?
Like what is a check from the government actually going to do? Is it going to make an impact on anybody's life? I mean, even somebody that's got a rent payment of $600 or $500 or $300. What about the rest of their expenses? What about everything?
Well, hopefully they, if they're only out of work for a couple of weeks because of this, and then they're back again, it may help with, maybe the difference between being able to pay rent and not pay rent in a given month. And Trump's doing it just because you got to spur the economy, right? So it's like, okay, we got to get the economy going again. So as a one-off, it could be helpful if you're really hurting, but as a group thing, it's certainly meant to.
Here's what my concern is: somebody's going to take their $1,000 check, cash it, and go buy their scratch-offs. Or spend it on something else and not put it into what it should be. Why can't we? How does this work? Stephanie, you're the smartest one of all of us here. Stephanie, how does this work exactly? How does this work? What the hell can be done to reinvigorate what harm this entire thing has caused?
I don't even know if there's going to be an answer for that because we don't know when this is going to end. But I think what they're trying to do is just pretty much what Strick said, just help people get day by day to what they need to for food, gasoline. I always think of the service industry, the restaurant workers. They're used to living off of tips, and hopefully this money can help them, get to that next day with food and gasoline and towards their rent.
All right. So let me do this. Chris, hey, unmute yourself for a second, Chris. So Chris, tomorrow you go to your mailbox and $1,000 check arrives. And seriously, what do you do with $1,000?
1,000 for me, I would probably run some ads.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm putting it into the business. I mean, I know. I'm gonna be honest here. A lot of people I know from my culture, when they get that $1,000, it's going into the economy. People are planning on shopping. They want to get some Gucci flip flops. That's just what a lot of people want to do. But I will say there are some people who are going to invest in a business. They have plans, and it's $1,000, but that can go a long way depending on how you can maneuver it. But for me, that would be my priorities, putting it right back into my business. That's just what I would do. It's only $1,000.
So Dave, let me ask you. Thanks, Chris. So Dave, you got how many apartment units? You have like 600 or something crazy like that?
No, not quite. But let me address what you just said though. So what could it's $1,500 if you earn less than I think it's $75,000 a year.
Okay, and then what is it if you earn more than $75,000?
It's I think it is half of that up to 100. I don't have anything in front of me.
Progressively goes down up to $100,000.
Okay, great. So at somebody that's at my income level, then I'm going to make what, $45,000 they're going to send me. So is that right? If I show $2 of income,
they're going to send you some hair product. So so $1,500. If somebody's earning $1,500 a month in income, then that's about $18,000 a year, right?
Okay, right.
So if somebody cut you, your question was, what if somebody sent this other fellow that you were talking to on the call here? I don't remember everybody's name.
Right.
But if somebody sends him $1,000 or $1,500 in a normal situation, yeah, have fun with it. But this is not a normal situation.
Right.
Who says what's paychecks?
But who says what's what you're saying in a normal situation? If you're just tomorrow, you get a check in the mail and the economy was good, you're working every day. Now somebody's out of work and they take $1,000 or $1,500. But who's going to pay this $1,000 or $1,500? The government can't just write the check without anybody being responsible. Aren't we going to end up paying?
The government, the deficit is blowing through the roof right now. Mm-hmm. Inflation. Just wait till you see what happens to the inflation rate.
Yeah,
it's just going to go. Right now, the inflation rate is about 2 to 3%. It's going to go much higher. And I just forgot what the average gross. Not income.
That's what happens when you hit 65 like you, Dave.
I can't think of the stupid name. The stupid thing.
Don't worry about
the domestic product.
Yes, we might actually go into a negative number, which is like so rare and unheard of. Right now, it's about 3%, 2 or 3%. So anyway, that all being said, there's no quick fix to any of this stuff. It's like a very unusual time in our lives. So some people, like I said, in a normal situation, $1,500 is like icing on the cake. Wow, woohoo! But this is actually the cake for some people.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, we have like one of the apartment complexes has about 160 units in it. Very lower middle class. Lower middle class. And not to sound. I don't want to make that a derogatory term. It's not. It's just like a socioeconomic term. So these are the people who are sometimes waitresses, waiters, dry cleaners, the worker bees, policemen even, and so they're going to be getting hit the hardest. So this is better than nothing.
Right.
I don't have the answer. I'm not that smart. I don't know if this is a good answer or not.
No, can I throw something out there real quick too?
Who's talking? Oh yeah, Becky, go ahead. Yeah.
Just something to keep in mind too. After 20 years, I thought I had I thought I was under the Board of Education for federal student loans. So when they say all loans, back in the early 90s when I took out loans, like everybody else, I had no money. I was farmed out to a bank. I had no idea until this week that I'm not under the Board of Education. So I don't qualify until September 30th, no interest accrues, no payments. So when we talk about the people in the lower income, if they went to college, they're not consolidated under the Board of Education with an ed loan, then they're still going to be responsible. They get 2 months of no payments, but the interest still accrues. So there's a very deep disconnect between student borrowers.
All right. So Marcel, let me ask you a question. Thank you, Becky. That's good to know. I'm sorry that you're in that situation very much. But Marcel, since you're an economist, right? So let me ask you this question.
Among many things.
So let's just say hypothetically, everything is forgiven. So mortgage payments aren't owed, or they're deferred, or they're just tacked on to the end. Rent payment, same thing, tacked on to the end. You get to live free. Everybody is forgiven whatever bills that they owe. Is that something that can even happen? And if it does, what does that look like to you?
Well, someone has to pay for it eventually, right? So, if you tack on your mortgage payment at the end, I guess maybe there's some extra interest, or maybe not. Depends on the bank. Really, what it kind of comes down to, and I was thinking this from the very beginning. It's going to take the people that have more, so maybe say the banks, bigger businesses, whatever, that can afford to absorb some of the hit, are going to have to step up and take it for the team, because the people that are, the little guys, for example, paying rent or paying business loans, literally they'll be out of business in a month or two, right? So now it's a question of, do the people that they owe money to, so the banks, so let's just go down the line. So let's say
go down the line with me. Let's play this scenario out.
Right.
So
I'm a small business owner.
Okay, yeah, do it that way. Yeah.
I'm a small business owner. I got to pay the utilities. I got to pay rent, right? So the utility companies are going to have to give us some leniency. The landlord, well, he's probably a small business owner too, so he's not getting the rent, but he's got to pay the bank. So maybe now, it's the bank's got to do something, and it's not fair in any way, shape, or form. So ultimately, some people who have the means are going to need to be lenient and generous to those that don't, and everybody's just going to have to figure it out.
So Jenny, if I say everybody just pause. Is that something that's even realistic for people to pause the payment, pause the penalties, pause the interest, pause the everything? Is that something that anybody can absorb at all? Because I don't know what else is the solution. I could just live off of savings for the next couple of months. Then my savings is gone. Not to mention what's going on. Stephanie, you can probably relate to this. What's going on with your SEP and your IRA and your 401k and all the other stuff that you've had?
No,
we're sucking wind right now.
I don't know that we can do a pause necessarily across the board for everybody, just because, it's the whole butterfly flaps its wings thing. Everything has an effect on everybody else. So, I don't know that we really can necessarily do that. I think some individual business owners may choose to do that for a period of time, but it's really going to be business, each individual owner deciding for themselves if they can or are willing to or able to.
So Jennifer, question for you as somebody that was working at Hobby Lobby or furloughed from Hobby Lobby. I don't know what their situation is right now. Did they continue paying at any point? Did they say, we'll just continue to pay you? Or at what point did they say, no more, we can't pay anymore?
So for the last week since we've closed, we are supposed to be getting emergency pay, which is 75% of our most recent average hours, which have been cut. But they just, like, my boss called me today and said they're going to reopen on Monday, and Monday is when the emergency pay is done. Right. So you either show up to work and risk exposure, or you lose your job. So
yeah, and how do you deal with something like that, Stephanie? How about if you had the agents that said, "Hey, listen, I really want to sell real estate, but I'm just not in a position to be able to walk into a house. I'm afraid of the exposure, or I'm not necessarily afraid, but I have older parents that I'm taking care of right now, and I can't be asymptomatic and carry this germ to my parents." So they're now looking for another job. So when you open up your doors, whenever this is finished, to get back to normal business, half of your I hope I'm not painting a negative picture, but I'm just saying, what happens if stuff that's got to happen in so many cases, just like at Hobby Lobby? What do you do as a person that owns a business with 45 or so people working there?
Yes, that's been one of my fears. And so I've just had open communication with all of my agents. So I understand what their situation is. Fortunately, the majority of our agents have a spouse or significant other that is still fully employed.
Wow.
And so they feel comfortable that way. But I do know I have a couple of agents that have just said, due to the current circumstances, I'm not going to be putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And do you understand? And I said, I completely understand. Of course, I will support you, and I understand that.
Right. Yeah. It's a good thing that you've saved that $12 million, because I'm really happy for you, Stephanie. I'm just really happy that you got. So Dave, as somebody that's normally used to being supported by your wife, why don't you talk about maybe what the implications of of this entire process for you, Dave Sachs?
Well, I'm calling Jenny on the phone to see if I can make a small loan for that $12 million out of that 12.
Right.
Anyway, so you all were talking earlier, like the apartment complex. So what's interesting is we're fortunate that we don't have a mortgage, but we have to pay electric bills. We have to pay staff still. I'm committed to not letting any staff go, and we're paying them at 100%. But we have bills to pay. So for instance, property tax, it's not due for a couple more months, but that's a huge dollar amount for, something like this. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. And I think a lot of us don't know. And that's scary. There's a lot of fear. I mean, I can feel the energy of it all in the community, So beats the heck out of me. We'll just see. I mean, friends that I'm talking with. Sorry, I haven't called you yet, Doug, on that. But
that's all right. I've been thinking about you, and I'm glad you're here. I really am.
No. Strickland kept on saying, "David, you got to call Doug. You got to call Doug."
So just everybody, just so give some perspective, David is also very good friends with Fern, my first ex-wife, and what's so great about that is that he can play both sides of the coin here. So how has she been doing in this entire process? I haven't spoken to her, although when I saw that you were on, coincidentally, she called at the same time that you were on. So how's her dental practice doing? Is she able to get? Are they open? Is that an essential service, dentistry?
We've only been texting, to be honest with you. She just came back from a trip to. I can't be funny. I'm sorry. I was just trying to say something. No, so I don't know what's happening with the dental office.
That's got to be a challenge too, because very very similar. She's solo breadwinner for her family, for her. The kids have both moved out, but I have moved out. So it's, what's interesting about it is, like, how do you pay your bills when you're an hourly wage earner and you're trying to figure out just how to get money coming in the door? Not easy.
I really don't know. So my neighbors here in Florida, husband and wife, they're both dentists. And she was I asked her, the woman next door, I said, so what are you doing? Her name is Natalia. And she goes, well, my office is a lot larger than my husband's, which I thought was kind of funny. But she's pretty much closed and emergency only. The husband, whose office is much smaller, apparently, he's also closed except for emergencies. Both of their children go to a very expensive private school, so they're home now. And I'm kind of wondering how that's going to be handled, to go off on a little tangent. So if your children are going to private school and they're now going to be doing virtual education, does that mean your payments to them have to be virtual as well?
Virtually reduced.
I got a note from my
what does the school say? What do they say?
My son lives in the dorms in Maine, and they said we'd be getting some kind of refund prorated. Like, I don't know what that means, but we'll see what happens if they actually finish up the classes for the semester. If it's just prorated for the room and board, we'll see what happens, right?
So, Strick, I think we got one more voicemail, right? Because we're about an hour and 15 minutes in.
Yeah, so we're rambling. We probably
that's all right. Great conversation, though. I enjoy the Corona conversation. Double C.
But because Jared always listens to the end anyway, so we'll listen to his last voicemail.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Strick. Jared here. Voicemail number 3. You guys are on fucking fire today, man. So I just reached, and keep in mind, I just reached the politics part, and I had to call in. So I almost called in earlier, but Strickland right away, it's Trump's fault. I knew I could count on that from you, Strick. We'll see how it plays out, but I had to call in real quick and kind of tie back into something I heard. Everything's being tried to get Trump out, and regardless of who wins, who doesn't win, I don't even care, because I don't vote by party lines. I vote for who I think is going to do the best job. So that having been said, I've heard it going around that, the only way the Democrats will get Trump out of office is to crash the economy. And earlier in the episode, you guys said, well, so what's the trade-off? We crash the economy to survive this? I'm throwing that out there for you guys. So I don't know if you guys are going to go down that pathway or not, but hey, maybe they did create a virus to crash the economy to get Trump out. Who the fuck knows?
Theory.
Beyond me. Do I believe shit like that happens? I believe there's something that happens. Did they know it was going to do this? Who knows? They're smarter than I am. Anyways, guys, love the show. I will continue listening to this very long episode, which I love. Thanks, guys.
So, yeah, I mean, I think anybody that says, oh, well, obviously the Democrats are like saying what a huge crisis this is just so the economy will crash and get rid of Trump. Like, come on. I'm sorry. Look at Italy. All right. Italy did nothing, and the entire country is on lockdown because the healthcare system can't handle it. I mean, to say that the Democrats are overreacting just so just so the Democrats can crash the economy and get rid of Trump is beyond ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Well, at what point do we say, hey, Marjorie, good to have you here. Marjorie Alexander. Oh, wow. Now we have just as many turnkey team members as we do everybody else that's here. Way to go, Marjorie. Hi. Marjorie was on a mastermind call all day today. I expected you to get in bed under the covers after that mastermind call, Marjorie.
No, not at all. My brain is going in a million directions here.
So Marjorie, maybe as someone that is hanging out, understanding the economy, how all this stuff fits together, has a podcast, understanding how online stuff works, understanding how work in the real world also works aside from the virtual world. Do you think, in a way, that the cure is worse than the what do you call it? The cure is worse than the situation. I mean, is the cure worse than what's the other word I'm looking for? Cure worse than the crime, but it's not a crime. But
cause.
Cause. Thank you.
The COVID.
Okay, is the cure worse than the COVID? Thank you. Yeah, because we could be hanging out here watching and dealing with the economy going right down the crapper, with a virus, and not that we wish this upon anybody, but the virus has still killed less people than the regular flu has killed throughout the course of the past year. So is the cure worse than the cause right now? Are we throwing the economy into the crapper as a result of this, trying to protect everybody from it? You say what, Marjorie?
These are all this is, you just summarized every conversation that I've been hearing for the last week. And of course, Doug likes to do what he does best, which is throw Marjorie into the deep end when she first shows up.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of her glasses of water are empty.
Well, Jenny's got you. Yeah, she's got a beer in there.
Yeah, she's got a beer. I was trying to keep my faculties about me, so I was beer and weed less the last 6 hours, which is way too long.
Yeah, way too long.
Is this really a fuckery episode? If I go off, am I gonna?
No, you're fine. I would take anybody's answer to that question. Is the cure? Oh, Marcel wants to answer. Yeah, unmute yourself, Marcel. And I have to unmute you. Okay, let me do that. Okay, I don't have to unmute you. Okay.
No, I was just saying let Marjorie have her piece, but I'll get my.
Yeah. What do you think, Marjorie? You can certainly pass to Marcel to answer, but I would love to know what your answer is on this too, because you're as smart a person as I know that's out there when it comes to this kind of shit. And it's but you live it. You're living it. So I'm curious what your opinion is on this. Is the cure worse than the cause?
No, I don't think so.
For the public safety reasons or for something else?
Public safety mostly because people are idiots. People do really, really stupid stuff and exposing themselves to just not protecting themselves. So I heard something interesting, and I don't know if anyone said it. Somebody put it really interestingly the other day. They said, go out and act not like you're not trying to get it from someone else, but act like you have it and you're not trying to give it to others.
Ooh, that's a good way of,
that's a really good way of looking at it. And while I know, the economy, absolutely, it's in the crapper. I understand that. But at the same time, this isn't an invisible killer. And if there are a lot of people out there who aren't doing what they need to do, there are a lot of people who think that this is a complete hoax altogether, and I'm not going to get into what those things are, but we need to protect ourselves first. Money doesn't mean shit if you can't enjoy it, if you can't circulate it because you yourself can't work, you yourself are not a healthy, functioning person. And there are a lot of people
but let me say, but I think the perspective that you just took, and I could be wrong here, but the perspective that you just took is because you can't enjoy the money. And what I'm thinking is, I was thinking about the money, yes, but I'm thinking people that are being told that they have to stay in their homes and they can't go out. I think there's probably going to be a high incidence of suicide because people feel like they're being controlled. And that has nothing to do with money. So if you took that part of it as the sole cause, a sole thing you're looking at instead of the money, what would you say then?
I don't know what you're asking me.
So the question that I would ask is the cure worse than the cause? Is the cure of keeping people in going to kill more people than letting people out because more people are going to kill themselves? I don't think it's going to kill more people.
No, it is absolutely going to kill people. There are people dying right now who are just going stir crazy. I know that for sure.
What are you saying, Strick?
You can just look at Italy and it, what's happening in Italy? The hospitals are totally, completely overwhelmed and people are dying that don't need to die because there is not enough, not enough beds, not enough material, not enough stuff. That, to me, that says it, right? I think the Lieutenant Governor of Texas made a comment that is going around a bit saying, look, dude, the economy is the most important thing. And you know what? I'm in the high risk area. And if I've got to die to get the economy going, and save it for my kids, it's okay. He's basically saying the economy is more important than old people. That's fucked up. I'm sorry, but that is just fucked up.
All right, wait a minute, Jenny, we'll get to you in a second. I want to hear what Marcel's spin is on this because he's a genius.
Well, thank you, Doug. I think it comes down to what is reasonable, because when anything becomes unreasonable, then it's gone too far. And I think that's the situation we've got here. Yeah, I was upset when sports leagues started shutting down, but ultimately that was their decision to do that. And I think it makes a lot of sense given the environment we're in. they shouldn't. Yeah, they should take some responsibility and say, we're just going to shut down our stuff so that way people don't come together. All right, that's fine. But then when like in our case, the governor of Illinois unilaterally decides that, all right, we're going to shut the whole state down. Or at first it was just restaurants and bars. I'm like, now you've gone way too far, because number one, he's making a decision based on mostly Chicago, which is always the case with Illinois politics, is that he's looking at it from the big city view. And it's like, look, there's a huge percentage of your state that just doesn't have the population.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, again, it's what it has to come down to is this: we live in a free country, or at least we think we do. You have to take responsibility for yourself and those you love. So if you are that concerned about it, then you need to stay home, and you need to stay home for people that are sick should stay home, and people that are worried about it should stay home. You can't, if you start the slippery slope of, oh, we need to protect you from yourself, where does that end? And it doesn't end. And we've seen that in history here, is that when people get power hungry and they think they know better than everyone else, well, then they start making decisions that are bad. And what I have seen here in the last week is more and more information coming out that is saying that maybe this initial information of how deadly the virus is, how easily it spreads, the fact that it may have already been in the population a couple months before we even knew about it. The problem isn't people making decisions based on information. The problem is when certain people, primarily government officials, choose to make decisions for everyone, and often they're making it on faulty information. Especially politicians are reacting to the public thing, and in this case, I think a lot of politicians overreacted because they were afraid of the political fallout. Everybody's panicking, and so they panic, if no other reason than to make themselves look good. And I really think, in our case, again, Governor Pritzker literally said he was pissed off that people were going out the weekend before St. Patrick's Day. And it's like, so he's throwing a hissy fit and destroys the economy. It's one thing for someone to throw a hissy fit. It's another thing for someone to destroy the economy because they feel like they have the authority to do it. And ultimately, when people say, oh, it's just the economy, it's not lives. Well, the economy is our lives, basically. It's not something to be taken lightly. And so, I think in the past week, what we've seen is a big shift. People are starting to figure out, it's like, wait a second, I think we went way too far. So if you're paying attention to a lot of these articles coming out and a lot of people pushing back, I think we're seeing the pendulum swing. And it's going to be real interesting if the government keeps the pressure up too much longer, because then I think we'll start to see at least the virtual torches and pitchforks come out. And if it gets too much further, when does it start to really become a problem?
All right, Jenny Bellinger, you spend an inordinate amount of time in bed with that man, Marcel Brown. So,
what I wanted to bring up is coming from a podcast host position here. What the listeners didn't see is, as soon as Marjorie said, people do a lot of stupid shit, you should have seen the entire Zoom screen. All of us were bobbing our heads like we were damn bobbleheads. All I could see was everyone agreeing, going, "Yep, people do stupid shit." Like everybody, like all 9 of us nodding our heads. It was great.
Is this the first time that you have had a chance to meet Marjorie virtually? And you guys have worked together for a while.
Marjorie and we've seen each other on Zoom a lot. We've just never, I've not had the chance to meet her in person because I've not been out in your area, but I was excited to see her because
next team meeting, which we will have to do virtually because we're not allowed to congregate together. We'll make sure that you get together. All right. Give us your final point, because I know Strickland's got to wrap it up. He's heading to another event in the next 30 minutes that he's doing virtually.
Well, my last point is, I think it's time for us to have a little fun. And I've seen a lot of people doing some fun stuff on Zoom. The one thing I haven't seen people do, and Doug, I'd love it if you would join us because you're probably the best person to run the shindig, is to do karaoke on Zoom.
I'm ready. I got Rapper's Delight all set up and queued up and ready to go.
Yes, I think it would be so much fun because I think so many of us are stuck doing Zooms for business that we're not doing Zoom for fun. And so I would really love to do a karaoke on Zoom where we send to the person who's running that, because I've never been a karaoke DJ. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we'd have to get a whole bunch of tracks. Strickland, that could be something interesting. We'd have to figure
you don't
out
even
how
have to do that. I think everybody who wants to sing can go to YouTube, find the version of the whatever it is that they want to sing, and they share their screen.
Oh, come on, Jenny, you know that will be a technology fuckfest if you try to tell everybody, go and share your screen. No, it's the fucking bottom right-hand side of the screen. You see how our clients are. We're not going to be able to teach people in one go.
You have to trust that the people who are going to participate for karaoke on Zoom have been doing Zoom for at least 2 weeks now.
All right, hold on. Final question. You literally have one sentence to answer the question. Everybody has to participate in this. I want to know, let's take you up on that offer, Jenny Bellinger. We're going to do karaoke. You don't have to sing, but if you were going to sing, what would be your go-to song? Strickland Bonner, you're going to go last because I know what yours would be. So Becky Jones, unmute yourself. What would your karaoke go-to song be? Dave Sachs, you're on deck.
Lessons in Leaving by Dottie West.
Wow. Okay. Strickland, do you know that tune?
I am actually not familiar with that song. It sounds like country. Dottie West, is that old school country?
All right, Dave Sachs, let me unmute you, or maybe unmute yourself. I don't know how to unmute you. Go ahead. What is your go-to song?
Probably AC/DC Back in Black.
That's challenging. That is very hard to sing. Trust me. I've been there and done that.
Good luck, Angus Young, doing that. All right, Chris Hines, we'll give you the final word here on your karaoke song, and then we'll go over to Jennifer Romero. Go ahead, Chris Hines.
It'll probably have to be Can't Tell Me Nothing by Kanye.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Jennifer Romero, you are up.
All
What is
right.
your go-to karaoke song?
What's up, Four Non-Blondes?
Four Non-Blondes.
What's going on?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right, Marjorie Alexander. We know you want to do
man.
karaoke. What is your go-to karaoke song?
I love the sappy shit. Landslide, Fleetwood Mac.
Nice.
I love that song.
Okay. All right. I'll give it to you. Marcel Brown, you are next up.
I've only ever attempted to sing one karaoke song, and it was Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks. So I need to come up with another one.
Well, no, you can. I mean, I'm going to give you the two songs that are my go-to songs, and absolutely, you can have only one or two songs. It's great to be able to do that. All right, Jenny Bellinger, go-to karaoke song.
My favorite one is "Bitch" by Meredith Brooks.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
It's a fun one. It's a one-hit wonder kind of song. And nobody knows anything else by Meredith Brooks, but everybody knows that one, and every chick in the bar joins in. It's so much fun.
Yeah, well, Strick and I, our Las Vegas song together would be "Crazy Bitch" by Buck Cherry. I think that would be one of the songs that we would like to listen to. I'm going to go with two. Of course, the same two that I've always do every time because I know every word to both of these songs. And it's "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" by the Charlie Daniels Band. That would be number one. Second song is "Rapper's Delight" by the Sugar Hill Gang. The shorter version, like the 7-minute version, not the 15-minute version. I wrote down every word in 1970 something to those tunes. And Strickland, how about you? Karaoke go-to song? What would it be? You have so many to pick from because you were a band guy.
Yeah, I've done in the past. I've actually done karaoke. What do we call
karaoke.
it? Like it was shit. I can't remember what we called it. Basically, I said somebody pick something from the book and don't tell me what it is.
Karaoke
roulette, right?
Karaoke roulette.
And I'll just go up and do it, and I won't even know what it is ahead of time. So there's a funny story about Crazy Bitch that you mentioned. About 2 months ago, I'm at a bar and watching a band, right? And I go up to the bar to get another drink, right? And the band is playing Crazy Bitch, right? And so, like, I'm up at the bar and I'm singing along, yeah, crazy bitch, but you fuck so good, I'm on top of it, right? And I look over and there's another woman, I have no idea who she is, and like she's singing along, and we look at each other like, oh, that's embarrassing, but yeah, that's funny. Okay, we're like bonding over the chorus of Crazy Bitch. Okay, yeah, that was good. Yeah.
That's good. Well, that's cool. Well, Jenny, we may have to take you up on this offer. At some point, we might have to do the Nice Guys Do karaoke. But you got to bring your own. It's BYOK. Bring your own karaoke.
Yeah. Yeah,
could do
bring
that.
your own YouTube song and have the link ready to go. And we'll, it's going to be a complete shit show, or as my friend Virginia likes to call it, a sugar show.
All right, well,
a complete
Jenny,
shit show the first time.
If you can come up with the ground rules, we'll publicize it, and anybody that wants to participate, your only in is, your prerequisite is you have to share the post so that you can get more people involved. But everybody gets a shot at it. Are you into it? Could you come up with the ground rules?
No, I absolutely. I already posted that I want to do it later tonight. So.
All right. Well, geez, tonight already. Okay. Well, all right. Well, we'll figure if you want to do it. Strickland, what time do you get back?
It's Jerry, so he could talk for up to 90 minutes or more.
Well, that's good.
Right.
I got to go feed my family anyway. So.
All right. Would you like to do it tonight or tomorrow night, Strickland?
Either one is fine.
Jenny,
That's
you make
fine.
the call.
Let's do it tonight. I already put the post up on Facebook, so we'll see. I tagged some friends of mine who love to do karaoke and have been wanting to do it, and we can't do it in person. So,
all right.
I gotta go to the liquor store, y'all.
Let's do this shit show tonight. If we're gonna do it, let's rip the Band-Aid off, get her done. Tonight, and
we can
friend me on
do
Facebook,
it.
y'all.
So it'll be you, me, and Strickland will be the hosts of it. So any of the three of us can run it. We'll have to figure out the technology side of things, but I'm into it. I would do it. That would be cool. As long as we all agree, if we're going to do it, whoever participates must share it with their group, so we can get. Man, it would be great to have 100 people doing virtual karaoke.
Right? So much fun. Because obviously you don't have to sing. Just come enjoy it. Because if nothing else, it's going to be a train wreck.
All right.
Well, it's kind of like sitting in the bar at the karaoke anyway. If you don't have to sing, but you have a fabulous time.
Well, let's decide. Let's decide what time that we're going to do that. We'll do that right after we hang up from everybody that's here. So Strickland can end this recording of the Nice Guys on Business Fuckery Day. So Strickland, you want to do the honors?
Oh, we could get everybody to do it. We could count down and say, does everybody know the closing line?
Yeah.
Those that know it. All right. So, but is it going to be like 1, 2, 3, go, or is it going to be 1, 2, go on 3, or is it go on, go on? We did that last time. It never worked out so well. How do you do it?
Marjorie and I totally screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know it. I'm not even going to open my mouth.
So it'll be 1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
go.
3. 1, 2, 3. Steve O'Brien, take us out of here. Right?
Okay. All right. Here we go.
We ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
The Nice Guys on Business are professional podcasters. Please do not try this at home. It may seem simple, kids, but lots of people get hurt in the process. Void where prohibited, including Mexico, Puerto Rico, Fredonia, or your in-laws. The Nice Guys on Business are not responsible for any claims of liability or any guarantee that these two morons know what they're talking about. There is no promise that being nice to people will help your business, but calling people assholes, dumb, incontinent fuckwads will definitely lose you business. For any and all claims, shit in one hand and wish in the other, and see which one fills up first. Thank you for listening to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. I'm Steve O'Brien.